Thank you, everyone. Thank you. It's okay, everyone. It's okay. I'm fine. I'm fine. Just please remain in your seat and let's go on with you. Please remain in your seat and let's go on with it. Sorry. Auto-captions happening. I love subtitles, closed caption. I depend on it. When I see that button, I get excited. So we have a long relationship. We go way back. Like, we go so long. But when I don't have it, I get lost. So when I see signs like this, no subtitles, I just get lost. I just can't find myself a way around. So when Google announced many years ago about auto-caption back in 2009, the world said, yes, that's it. We have made videos accessible. It's great, everything. So in part, yes, but I've got a few issues with auto-caption because we call them in the deaf community crap-tions for a reason. And I'm on a mission to cut the crap-tions. And I want to show you how when you have auto-caption, it's kind of like a weak ammo and it won't get you so far. But when you properly edit it, then you have a badass weapon that can get you much further than you think. So I've got a few interesting examples, like this one. No way can this country ever allow Batman to be our prime minister. I'm thinking, Batman. Oh, that man, yeah. Although let's face it, Batman would be better than anyone that we have right now. Kevin Bridges is a Scottish comedian from Glasgow, got a thick accent. Now, auto-caption struggled to understand what the hell he's talking about. He just wants to know about your holidays. That's what it is. The same comedian, he went on a stage with round of applause. Please welcome Kevin Bridges, round of applause. He literally said, thank you, hero. That's what he actually said. Now, the auto-caption picked up as... Well, we know that Jacinda is one of a good one, but she did not say that had a titty in front of your phone window. No, she's one of a good one. She had a teddy in front of your front window. And sorry for anyone who comes from Huddersfield or Huddersfield, obviously. And it can be called one thing, but it's not soccer. But it's also not soccer either, really. Let's just face it, it's not soccer, but still can't get it right. And I was looking at recipes and how to use breadcrumbs, and someone mentioned, oh, you can make catsuit curry. I'm thinking Batman's on a mission over here. But no, it's actually catsuit curry is what it's meant to be. Big difference. And I'm not part of, I'm not trendy. I don't know what FaceTime or ketchup means. I'm not really sure, but actually what we're all supposed to be, FaceTime or ketchup at the bottom as well. And it gets a bit weird. I'm getting messages by all kinds of sextors. Oh, sextors, right. That makes more sense. And this one's a bit different. Do you remember during the days of lockdown, you can only go out for your, apparently, sexual trips. But in this situation, there's an argument about how the people who are dependent on BSL were told, just read subtitles, that'll be fine. But yet, life or death information was given us information like this. And that's where the argument about using auto-caption, is it good or bad? But then also, an argument here where I blocked out two sections there. One of the side was homophobic and the other side was racist, coming up in auto-caption. Now this guy is saying, YouTube, you should do your job. Wrong. The person who uploaded it, who edited it, should do the job. It's not YouTube's responsibility to make sure that you don't have homophobic, racist, and so on in the caption. It's up to you. So, what are the benefits of captions? It's kind of a given that people who are deaf or hard of hearing will benefit. So in the UK, 11 million people, 1 in 6. It will rise to 1 in 5. Around the world, 500 million. That will also rise as well. And that's quite a lot of people, isn't it? But that can go on. There are more people who can benefit from this. Netflix had mentioned about how 40% of global users use them all the time, 80% once a month. And even the major video game developers have said 95% of people who have it on by default, they leave it on. And even if it's not on by default, at least 60% of them turn them on. Okay, that's a lot of people, again. So even more, it's becoming a trendy thing now to have subtitles for the younger viewers. So much so that people are talking about why are people obsessed with captions and subtitles. So add that to the mix, that's a lot of people. I can go on. There was research by British Medical Journal at the end of last year. They were saying about how there's a concern over 1 billion teenagers may lose their hearing in the 20s because of loud music, concerts, headphones. A lot of people. I can go on. Caption can help you to provide clarity in certain words. It can help people with learning disability to learn things. It can give you better user engagement experience. It can help you to comprehend certain sound in noisy environment. It can help you to watch videos in quiet environment. I'm sure we've all done that in the bus, library, whatever. Improve your SEO on YouTube. That is a fact. It can help you to watch any videos if it's not your primary language. Benefit. And they're easy to access culture across the globe. Purpose your content in something else, improve your literacy rate. If any of you have children, if you're a parent, if you're looking after children and they're watching TV, even if they're watching Dougie or Bluey or all these ones, turn on the subtitles. There's strong evidence to suggest that children will know that that word, it looks like that word written down, and they're able to connect the dots. There's strong research to suggest that. So turn on subtitles if they're watching Paw Patrol. It does help a lot. You can new languages along the way, and you can reduce likelihood of concentration fatigue, get that all the time, and then you follow all the legality around it. So combine all of that together, that's a lot of people. Now, even YouTube, their own guideline about automatic caption said you should always review them and properly transcribe them. And there's a reason for that. I've shown you before, and I'll show you again later on. And I've even asked John Miller, and he said, do YouTube, Google look at the auto-caption? He said, well, yes, not with web search, but they do look at it, which is interesting because on average, about 60 to 80% accuracy rate is particularly given to auto-caption when you use it. So Google's looking at that, YouTube looking at that, which also begs the question, if you have blog posts, news articles, book, magazine, call it, whatever it is, if they are only 60 to 80% accurate, is that okay? If that's not okay, then why is it okay for captions to be in this accuracy rate as well? And you can do it in many platforms. YouTube, if you auto-caption it, you can do it directly on there and just edit it and make sure it's working correctly. The thing is though, it's not just about having accurate words spoken out. There are contexts that can help when you have properly transcribed and properly captioned context in the story. This is an example of Mohammed, a comedian. He deliberately was lisping. So not only you got lisping in there, but he can see that it's pronounced something is seriously wrong, or something is really wrong. It's deliberate, and it adds to the context of the comedy, and allows everyone to follow along. If it was spelled correctly, then you don't get it. So that adds the context to the actual story. Even in this scene of Viking, and this is actually open caption because it's burned on. He was speaking another language, but if you have the closed caption turned on, you would know that he was actually speaking Old Norse. So I had access to additional information that people wouldn't have had in the first place. And same, when a Native American was speaking, nobody would have known until he turned on the closed caption that speaking in Mi'kmaq. And that's really interesting extra insight in there. This one's interesting. Singing in non-English, speaking non-English. I mean, first of all, it's called Spanish. But second of all, even if it is Spanish, you should still transcribe it. You hear the Grammy, where a huge chunk of your audience are Spanish-speaking people. So it got a lot of backlash when it's written like as non-English. It's a bit condescending. You say like, it's not English, let's put it aside. It's not important. So they got a lot of backlash for that as well. But I know that Mininese is a language. Because you can sing in Mininese, you can speak in Mininese, you can be angry and shouting in Mininese. It's a real language. But also you can have context to sound effects. So these two guys just blowing non-musically into tubes. But also a lot of things like, oh, the packet of crisp Doritos specifically is crinkling and he's crunching on the Doritos. A lot of things like that. But sometimes when accuracy really matters, it does matter. So we know that he didn't say little folks fucking Beetle. What he actually said was little folks fucking Beetle. A little thing like that. And even at the bottom here, we know that it's going to be I'm a celeb, get me out of here. But even how you write it is important. The branding is important. The capital C, celebrity, the ellipsis is important. This one, now you might think, oh, it's perfect. The quality is 100%. Actually, it's not, because what he actually said is the best solution that we can recommend. So that completely makes the whole thing pointless. And even when you're talking about, for example, God, capital H, small thing, that makes a difference. And even when you want to tell a joke. So why couldn't Harry Potter tell a difference between his cooking pot and his best mate? Well, they both called Ron. They both called Ron. But without those two spellings, you wouldn't be able to be followed along. So it does matter a lot. So having Germa, who's a very influential deafblind person, went to Harvard, worked with Obama. She has complained about how auto-caption has captioned her name as Hallam grammar. But then you could have a, let's just say, bigger name like Martin Luther King. And still don't get it right. But then you could be a famous footballer. So in this video, 3-minute video, they're talking about who is the best footballer, Erling Haaland or Kylian Mbappe. Right. I watched this video. Now you can see it's completely wrong. I made a note of every time Haaland and Mbappe was mentioned, and I made a note what they look like. So, Haaland. It's Ireland, Highland, Holland, Howland, and Holland, and Mbappe was Mbappe and Buffet, Mbappe and Buffet, a bath and backpack. That is only in a 2-minute, 30-second video by BT Sports. They've got money, they can do better than that. And also, make sure you get the right animal, because there's no penguin in there. Killer whales or orca or whining. So accuracy does matter in this case. In sound, it's also very important, because I didn't know, because I couldn't hear it, that clownfish can grunt and click. Interesting. But the marine word is also quite interesting. The animal word is very interesting when you have overlapping animal vocalization, or the marine life has loads of echoes and clicks and whistles. It's beautiful. I'm part of that story. And even when there's like a particular song, name and a title, it's playing and seen, great, it's mentioned. But even if it's not the song name or title, it could be the type. So in this scene in Black Panther, there's a fighting scene. It was slow motion, there's a haunting traditional singing. Great. But then it could be an upbeat sitar music playing in this Indian-themed program. It makes sense. But then it could make the I don't know sound, which is the But the issue with this is that not everyone knows what means. So it's probably better to say mumbling I don't know. But I get it, the context is there. But sometimes even as simple as just that can make a big difference to the story as well. This is an interesting scene in Viking. I was holding my newborn baby and I thought, I don't want my newborn baby to listen to violence and blood and, let's just say, scenes that are for adults only. So I put the volume off and I was watching the scene. In the scene there were two parties, Vikings, who were going to fight with each other. The men were yelling and they're starting to drum their shield. And it was getting interesting because then they started fighting and grunting, and one man was on fire, started screaming. But while that was going on, the men were still going at it. Swords were clanging, everyone was grunting and just yelling in the middle of that battle scene while the music played dramatically in the background. Now he was just laughing in his face and he thought, I'm going to come and get you. So what happened? He broke his bone in his leg. It snapped, he groaned, and then he screamed in pain. They managed to catch his breath again. While all that was going on, the men were continuing to shout, and that's when he started to say, are we afraid of death? Fight on. Now you can follow all that just by reading at the bottom, and there's no sound. It could be a part of the story. But even if there are no sounds at all, it still matters. It could be something inaudible. It could be a general hubbub in the background, crowd talking indistinctly. It could be something very specific, like indistinct chattering in Micmac. That's like so specific, but it's excellent. But the one thing I absolutely hate is when there are profanities and they are kind of blocked off. Now Google is doing that, and I'll show you an example of how they do that. If there is an audible beep, then fair enough. Then you put in beep. But what YouTube is doing is starting to be a bit condescending and say, oh, there's bad word in there, we don't want you to hear it. That's not accessible. That's not true verbatim. You have to make sure that what people can hear matches what people can read, 100%. But making it readable, if you have control over that, is important, because sometimes it's too much. That's filling up too much of a screen. This is a thing people are doing, that jump in one word at a time. That's annoying. It's not accessible. It's a marketing gimmick. Sometimes they have captions over each other. Sometimes you're wearing a shirt that means that you can't read it. Or sometimes it's in the background where you're just missing in the snow as well. But you don't go overboard. Now, you can be creative with it, but you don't have to go overboard with it. So speaking old Cybertronian, I'm not sure if that is the best use of the caption, because you need to go as a language, that's not a language. Apparently, you can laugh in a machine gun fire way as well. Apparently, you can also die in Russian. Apparently so. And you can cry in Spanish, duh, you can cry in Spanish. And there is a way to imply cannibalism. And anyone know what intense gaze staring means? Because I don't. Doesn't make sense to me. And when the coffee machine turns on, it applauds. My coffee machine does not do that. It's a grinding noise, obviously. And you can win 3% to Deborah Meaden's pants in Dragon's Den. What? No, that's not, no. And anyone see the problem with this? What the hell is that? Stranger Things have gotten a lot of attention because they were so creative with their the way they caption it. It's not going to work here, but they were using words like food plops wetly, and wet squelching noise when you step on things. Very creative. If you watch Stranger Things, or if you haven't seen it, it's great. Put on the subtitles, it's great. There were times where you're using words that are a bit complicated, like undulating, moist sound, which doesn't make sense to me. So if you have to look it up, is it accessible? That's questionable. But if you get a chance to see Stranger Things, it's good. I've got loads of rules, you've seen some of them, but I was going to give you a step-by-step thing of what to do about captioning. But I've got one rule, and that is just start. All you have to do is just start. Because when people are asking for access to videos, it's like saying to you, you don't have access to audio. And that's what people like myself and many others, we can't do that. We can't access videos because we feel like we're not invited to watch a video. And there's a lot of people. And I love this quote by a Korean director. He won an Oscar for his Korean film, which you can watch with English subtitles, so lo and behold, it's useful. And he said, you'll be introduced to so many more amazing films if you just accept subtitles as it is. But that's the whole point, is that me and many others, we want to be watching the videos as you are creating them. And if you put subtitles on, it's like you saying to me, welcome, we want you in, we wanted to watch it, here you go. But the most of the YouTube videos and beyond are not captioned at all. We want to be part of it, and all you have to do is just start.